Celebrated opera singer Marian became an important catalyst to overcome racial prejudice, breaking down racial barriers with some of her performances. Coming up on February 17th, Performing Arts Alliance and Virginia Opera present Deep River, Marian Anderson's Journey, one public performance only. With us today, the stars of the show, Melanie Campbell, who portrays Anderson, and Philip Bullock, who will be performing for us later in the show. We're excited about that. And the Executive Director of the Performing Arts Alliance, Janet Stark, is here with us this morning as well. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
This is exciting. It's Black History Month, so I'm sure that's part of the catalyst for this performance at this time. Janet, tell us about why you decided to focus on this Marian Anderson program.
Yeah, well, our Wells Fargo On Stage Family Series is a series we do throughout the year, and we work to promote artists and performers from throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia, and also our resident companies. Virginia Opera is one of our resident companies. And so as we were approaching this season, they let us know of the rep that they were working on. And we always try to offer something during Black History Month, and this just really spoke to us. The idea of telling the historical story of such a significant figure in the music world, being able to, it's just a different nuance, and it's able to, what we hope, not only introduce new audiences to the art form of opera, and it's made accessible for young children, but also demonstrate to children, especially little girls, that there's an idea, there's a vision of something greater that they could be.
Melanie, how or were you influenced to become an opera singer by Marian Anderson's legacy?
Definitely. Growing up, I always looked up to Marian Anderson. I always wanted to be just like her. She's a pioneer who was the first African-American at the Metropolitan Opera House. So that was something that I aspired to be. You know, she's influenced many opera singers such as Grace Bumbry and Denise Graves, and there's so many opera singers that she influenced. So I'm just really honored to play this role and to bring the information to, you know, people in the school systems.
And Philip, you're performing in the show as well. You portray Thomas?
Thomas, yes.
Who is he in the legacy?
So basically, Thomas isn't in the legacy. Thomas is just a 17-year-old kid doing a project on her, and he gets to ask all those questions like, why is she famous? Who is she? Why do we care? It's from I guess a younger perspective.
Did that open your eyes at all to the legacy of Marian Anderson? Were you familiar with that?
I was familiar with Marian Anderson, yes. So I'm from Washington, D.C. originally, and so I heard wonderful things, and of course her concerts, all over the world. But really, getting to ask these kinds of questions is really interesting, and it definitely helps the kids relate more, because the idea is that Thomas is asking the kind of questions that a 16-year-old child or kid would ask. Who are you? Why are you famous? How'd you get famous? Did you post videos on YouTube? No.
Because her legacy goes back to the early 1900s. So for them, that's ancient history.
It is.
For us, that's semi-current history.
Yes.
And to know that Marian Anderson was the first African-American ever to perform at the White House.
Yes.
And then the famous Lincoln Memorial performance before 75,000 people and then millions listening on the radio. It's a history lesson, but it's also a performance for them. What was it like for you the first time you ever saw a live performance on stage?
Oh, wow. Well, I can remember my dad actually took me to the Metropolitan Opera House, and when I saw someone on stage, singing in front of all those people, I was like, wait, I think that could be me one day, so, and that's just how I began,
What about you? What was the eye-opener for you when you saw your first live performance on stage?
It was so much the spectacle. I grew up in church, and so I've seen a lot of people sing and, up close, but when you get on stage and whether there's an orchestra or a band or anything like that, it's the grandeur and the spectacle and the larger than life nature. I love it so much.
And that's kind of, Janet, what you're offering with this performance as well, because you're going to be doing some sold-out school performances along with the public performance. And this, for a lot of children, is their first introduction to live performances.
Exactly. We're really pleased that we're presenting 2 sold-out school performances the day before, and exactly what they just talked about is what we're hoping to instill in children and their families, is to really, light that spark of imagination and interest and passion that they might be involved in the arts, whether on stage or backstage.
And this is a wonderful opportunity for families to come together to not only enjoy wonderful performance, but also to see some live entertainment.
Absolutely. It's in our Libby S. Gottwald Playhouse, which is a wonderful sort of small black box theater. The acoustics in there are wonderful. Artists often say they love to just play with their voice in that space. And so again, for the first time theater goer coming to see their very first opera, it is so accessible. And Virginia Opera has done a great job with their family performances and really making opera engaging and exciting and fun. And you know, often there's laughter, often there's serious notes, but it's highly entertaining. We just would welcome anyone to come see it.
What does it mean to you to be able to perform for a young audience?
You know, it's wonderful to, we just gave a performance yesterday. I think that was in Chesterfield. And a little girl came up to me and she said, I think I want to be an opera singer when I get older. I'm like, really? This is great, you know? So that is the whole reason why, you know, why we sing, you know, why we bring music to the young people to inspire them, you know, so.
You may have just changed someone's life.
Yes, that'd be great.
You never know.
Yeah.
And you two are going to perform for us today. What are we going to see?
We are going to do a snippet of the last piece. Every time I feel the spirit, it's a spiritual the duet that we do between the two of us. It's a lot of fun.
And it's great because Glenn Winters, this is his arrangement, so we're happy to sing his arrangement. It's exciting.
Oh, well, we're so excited to have you both, all three of you with us today, the two of you to perform. Virginia Opera's Deep River, Marian Anderson's Journey is on stage for one public performance only. It's next Saturday, February 17th at the Dominion Energy Center for the Performing Arts in downtown Richmond. The show is at 10 a.m., so very family friendly. We'll post a link on our website by early this afternoon at WTVR.com/VTM with all the details. And Melanie and Philip are going to share a performance from the show a little bit later on our show. We're looking forward to it.